Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Friday. I hope it finds you well. Yeah, the weekend is almost here, and it's summertime. It's another scorcher out there, shattering all kinds of consecutive days of over 110 here in the Valley. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go play golf. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. It's not that bad. Suck it up. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. And, we got options expiration. That just is a fancy way of all the hedge funds and traders, the bankers, right? They got to close out their positions and move on to the next contract. So it'll be a pretty active day on Wall Street. I'm not expecting, anything too big of a surprise. Everyone's gearing up for what we believe will be another rate hike on Wednesday. Looking for what I will call a soft rate hike, which is, hey, we're hiking, and good chance we may not hike the next time, and data dependent, and all that other nonsense. But today we're going to focus in defaults already past 2023. So we're barely halfway, 7/12 of the way through the year, in defaults now surpassing last year's total. They're going to surpass 2022, 2021. It'll probably be one of those. We'll get real close to these default levels going back to the last blow up in the financial markets, but so far hasn't caused a big ripple. We have news about the Japanese yen. Inflation came in hotter than expected in Japan. The Japanese central bank says, well, we're not going to do anything about it. Goldman Sachs now saying, hey, yen above 150. Remember, we had that earlier this year. Yen above 150. Right now, the yen at 152, and obviously, let's face it, it's the yen. Does anybody really want to hold that? No. We've got bad debt problems. Theirs is worse because their economy is much smaller than here at home. But these are some of the things, and then the big news: the Fed now wholesale digital currency. Jason, it is now live. So we are now in the era. And I don't care. I know, well, it's not a retail one. I get it. But we know this is the first big step. The United States now is in with the Federal Reserve is in the digital currency market, Jason. This is for clearing global trades. The Fed Now coin is now in effect on what I'll call the wholesale level. And then, not to be outdone, the Chinese. Now, remember, China's had a retail digital currency for a while now. Nobody's really talked a lot about it. Jason, it passed $250 billion just the other day. And I know, well, $250 billion on a 17, 18, 19 trillion dollar economy, depending on, who you talk to in China, it's not overwhelming. But very quickly, things are definitely progressing in a way that I don't think most Americans and most people that like freedom want to see.
Joe, we played Andy Schectman and Robert Kiyosaki, and Andy Schectman had mentioned, hey, something you got to remember: the Bank of International Settlements (BIS) said it will not do business with you, any entity, unless you're got some form of digital currency on the way, or started up, or actually up and tested by next year. So you have to do it, Joe. That's where this isn't a maybe. This is it has to happen. It's going to, any banking institution or country, any central bank, they're going to be using it, Joe. All of them will be.
Yeah, and again, I think this is going to be something where this has been very, very well planned. They're well on the path to this. There's been ever since the financial crisis, there has been a rush to this digital currency. It's not an accident that something like Bitcoin or Ethereum all of a sudden emerges immediately after the financial crisis. Jason, you brought up something where you hear Janet Yellen, you hear Ben Bernanke, Jay Powell. Oh, well, it's necessary, right? This digital currency, it's necessary. It's not necessary. It's necessary for them to have even more control over spending. And this has got to remember, you got to understand what the banks really want. Because here's what they hate. They hate the person that has $100, $200, $300, $500, $1 million, $10 million in banks and leaving it sitting there month after month, year after year. You are public enemy number one. You know what they love? The person who at the end of the week, at the end of the month, they only have $50, $100, right? $300. Hey, I'm paycheck to paycheck. That's their goal, paycheck to paycheck. That's what they want. Now they say that's not what they want, but that is what they want, right? They want you to spend all of your disposable income every single month. That's their goal. And with a digital currency, they got an easier chance at achieving it. It's just that simple. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason will be back right after the break. (800) 951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Friday. A quick look in at the markets. The Dow's up 60. The S&P's up 14. The Nasdaq's up 30. Gold's down 6. Silver is down 8 cents. Oil very quietly here, approaching $77. We'll keep our eye on that. The 10-year note, the yield is actually lower today. A little bit surprising because we expect that rate hike Wednesday. 3.81. And again, the news of the day is the Japanese yen having issues now where they're expecting the yen to once again go back above 150. Right now sitting at 142. If you're looking for a place to hide, because if you're like me and you're seeing, Dow 35,000, S&P 4,500, Nasdaq's 14,000, and you're like, this doesn't add up, right? I don't know, right? Everybody's saying it's either a soft landing or a recession or a hard landing. None of those are great options, right? None of those are great. Hey, do I really want to be involved in this? Is there something where I can get a solid, a really good rate of return, and it's not correlated to Wall Street, it's not correlated to the stock market, not correlated to the Fed, doesn't care about the dollar? Yeah, there actually is. It's called YRefi.com. Invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or 888-YREFI24, up to 10.25%. And it's fixed. Month after month after month. You can turn your income on. You can turn it off. You can compound it. I mean, all the options are on the table. No fees, right? The list goes on and on and on. Check them out, investYRefi.com, or call them 888-YREFI24. And as you guys know, you got to have at least $50,000 to work with our friends over at YRefi. Jason, a lot of confusion as the Fed Now coin is operational. I know that J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo are already signed up. I believe that Bank of America, U.S. Bank, who am I? Citi, right? All of these guys, they're all getting their ducks in a row. But those two banks where the tester banks, 16 other institutions involved in all of this. The Federal Reserve is trying to make you believe that, hey, this is not a digital currency, right? They don't want you to believe that. This is exactly what it is. Okay? The only difference is, hey, we're not letting the end user, the consumer, have access to it. Banks can have access to this now. They can settle trades. They can do paychecks, right? The Fed, one of the great things about what the Fed loves about this is now, remember the last crisis? You had to go to the Treasury, right? And the Treasury, they would come up and Congress say, hey, we're going to give, and remember that, it was outrageous. Hey, we're going to give everyone $1,500, right? You got kids under 18, they get $1,000. And then you had to wait, right? Remember? You had to wait. It could be 6, 8, 10 weeks. Well, with this Fed coin, here's what they love. Hey, we can put that in their account immediately. This essentially ties all of your bank accounts now to the Federal Reserve, right? This is kind of the setup phase, right, Jason? This is the setup phase behind the scenes in clearing things like that, having the ability to access the Federal Reserve and the ability to access bank accounts.
Yeah, the Fed having access to your personal accounts. The IRS, lawfully or unlawfully, they've had access to your bank account. So it's like adding another agency that you shouldn't trust that has fingertips on your money. I get chastised still because I don't when I go sign up for utility bills, for example, I don't do the automatic withdrawals. I make them send me a paper billing. I write a check and I send it to them, and they can get the money after they've billed me. And then when I'm ready to send the check, I send it. And so I'm way in the dark ages on this stuff. I've had just small instances where somebody who I've gave access to my accounts to, they just do the wrong thing. And then how many minutes or hours of time do I have to go to fix the situation? And it's all on me. In this situation, Joe, you don't even get the choice, right? The Fed, the IRS, these other, the government are going to have abilities to get to your bank account. And I saw what happened in China last year, as they started hitting these Chinese citizens with cell phones with the red mark of death. Your account has been frozen for any number of social credit score reasons. And then these Chinese people would go to the bank, and sometimes their wait in line was 2 days. 2 days. And then when they get up there, they went through a series of personal questions attacking them before they were allowed to have their banking services turned back on. I don't know about you, Joe, but I don't want to be sitting in line for 2 hours or 2 days to have my bank account turned back on by the Fed coin or whatever organization wants to have their fingers on my bank account. That's why, unfortunately, I like Federal Reserve notes much better than all this other stuff. At least I can hold it outside of their system. Gold, silver, way better.
Yeah, some things that have yet to be decided. What's the charge for this service? That has not been disclosed, so I don't know. Is now I guess what is the Fed gonna start getting revenue for this service? I don't know. That hasn't been released yet. And again, here's the sell. We're gonna offer convenience. Of course, right now, this convenience is for the financial institutions. Hey, we'll give you your money right away. Right? We'll give you your money right away. The prime example that I use, this is how I explain it for us. When we use our debit cards or our credit cards, if you use them at the physical location, that company gets paid the next day. In other words, the credit card processing company, Visa, MasterCard, whoever it may be, Discover, American Express, they hold that money overnight. And they make a few dollars. Probably a lot of dollars, right? But they make money holding it. That's why they hold it. If they have a website and you order on a website, well, see, there's another person involved. So now you have the website processor. They hold it for a day. Then it goes to the credit card company. They hold it for a day. And then you get paid. So you don't get paid for 2 days. And that's how it works. So now what the Fed now coin does is they're, at least for the financial institute, they're going to get paid. If you're part of this, you get paid right away. In other words, let's just use this as an example. Let's just say, I don't know, Boeing. Boeing needs to make a debt payment to J.P. Morgan. And it's 8:30 Arizona time when they make that payment. Well, normally, that payment, you do a wire, right? That wire will show up as pending. And when the Fed window closes, later in that afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern, it'll finally post to the account. Well, you had to wait. What? You had to wait 6 hours, 8 hours to actually have access to that money. They'll have it now. They'll have it immediately. And again, when that digital currency comes, Jason, that's what they're going to tell us. Hey, look how convenient this is, business.
Well, and the current system that you just mapped out, why do we have to wait 6 to 8 hours? Right? Why is there always been that little wait time? Why? Well, I think it's forward thinking, Joe. They got to have something that makes the new digital currency seem superior to the old system. Listen, this is all digital money. If Boeing wired to someone in Arizona, and it was instant, like it could be instant right now, and there was something wrong with the transaction, they know how to reverse those funds. They know how to, right? They can do that right now, right? Why is it so cumbersome? Well, because the new system's got to look superior, Joe. That's the only reason. That's the only reason that it takes even hours to wire funds.
The only, who will get hurt in this, and I don't even know if it's a thing anymore, but it used to be. Let's just say you get paid on Friday. Okay, so today is payday. Well, last night, man, I'm out of money, but I got money coming tomorrow. Right, I got money coming tomorrow. I can go to the grocery store, write a check, and by the time it posts, it will clear because my money will be there the next day. And by the time it's Thursday, they close up Thursday. They don't put it into the bank till Friday, right? Even if they put it in Thursday night, that your paycheck will post, the check will clear. That wouldn't happen with a new digital currency, right? Because it's instantaneous. Either you have the money or you don't. So for those people that maybe play that, hey, I've got a little grace window, when a digital currency comes, that's the one thing I could see for people that do that. That could be a problem.
Yep. Yeah, there'll be a lot of changes, but when it comes to the money moving around for the citizens, it'll look like it's the best thing ever. It'll just look like it's freer and better and faster. And most likely when this thing really gets instituted, it'll be around an economic collapse or an economics disaster. And they're not going to, I'll say this, Joe, they're not going to force anybody to use this. I want to say this right. I think it's very clear to me the way that these things get pushed upon society. They never force it. They make you ask for it. You have to come and sign a document. And I think the pressure, Joe, when this thing really gets up and running, so after some financial disaster, the pressure will be much greater than if you're somebody who didn't want to wear a mask at a store during COVID. Very few people didn't want to do that. It'll be a necessary part of society. They'll force you into it by just saying, well, then you're just going to be the leper, and you have to live on your own if you're not inside the system. But they will make you volunteer for it.
Let's look at it this way. Once this thing really gets going, Walmart won't take anything but that, right? Target, Kroger, right? And they'll tell, oh well, it's just theft and fraud and all these reasons, and they'll just stop taking anything else. And you're right. They won't even, I don't even know if they'll necessarily even have to say, hey, we're banning cash.
Right.
Nobody will take it. And then the banks, hey, oh, well, you're one of those guys. Oh, I got you. You're one of those, right? You just want to be stubborn. Well, guess what? When you want to put cash in the bank now, and all of you know, I tell you this story. The banks, they'll give you $20,000 of cash deposits as a business. That's it. After $20,000, they start charging. Now, right now, it's $300 for every $100,000. So, as an example, if Patriot puts $120,000 in the bank, okay? So you guys coming in, I know, I don't want the government to know I'm paying cash. You're paying cash here in Phoenix. You're paying cash in Fort Lupton. You're paying cash in Johnstown. Well, we got to put, we got to put that cash in the bank. Right? Got to pay our bills. Well, if I put $120,000 of cash in the bank in the month, that's $300. Well, fast forward a few years. Oh, wait, that's $3,000. Yeah, I'll just stop taking cash. It's that simple. We'll be back after the break. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Friday. The last few days we were running great specials on Silver Eagles. We sold out on Wednesday. Yesterday I thought we'd sell out. We should have sold out, but I get it, right? It's hot. It's summertime. There's not a lot of news that leads you one way or the other, right? We're still kind of in that treading water. But here's the thing. The price isn't treading water. Silver's not treading water. Gold is not treading water, right? The uptrend has started again. I have 18 rolls of the backdate Silver Eagle still left from yesterday. Listen, you're saving $35 a roll for my ridiculously cheap price. You're saving $10 an ounce from what my competitors charge on backdate Silver Eagles. It doesn't get better than this. The last 18 of them here, they're $675. That's it, just $675. And while you're at it, throw these 10,000 at $255. That's a steal. And again, that's way below everybody else out there. 800-951-0592. And I cannot stress the importance of having some assets outside of the Federal Reserve note of the banking system, because with the digital currency, and again, listen, they're not going to announce it. They're not going to, oh yes, and as soon as we put this in, we're going to have carbon footprint. We're going to tell you how much ground beef. We're going to limit ammo. They're not coming out and saying that. That's what they're going to do. Here's the other thing they're going to do. The next crisis. Hey, when we're going to give you that money instantaneously, they can put expiration dates on it. They can tell you what you can spend that money on. Right? Because you know what they also hate? Think about this. You know what they hate? When they give you money and you don't spend it. Man, they hate that. Oh, now they've got a fix for it, don't they? Right? Hey, you've got to spend it, and you have this many days to do it, right? It's just that simple. And how will they know if I spent it or not? Well, they know what your bills are. Listen, they know now. They know exactly what you're spending every month. And it'll be really easy for them to do it. And people just don't understand it. So having things that you can trade with neighbors, trade with other businesses, believe me, this is going to be a big thing. And you're going to wish you bought it now versus later. Because believe me, as we get closer and closer, think about what I just said. It's already started. It's already started. FedNow is live and running. China's already, we're doing $250 billion of transactions. It's coming. Get the divisible material so you have it. 800-951-0592. Now, they want everybody to listen. We're not competing with Venmo and Cash App and PayPal and Zelle. Got to remember, though, of course they're not. Because that's what we use. That's not what this one is. Now, of course, when the digital currency comes, that's exactly what it would be. I mean, because that's really kind of what it is, isn't it? Isn't that really what we're talking about? Right? Instantaneous trade. Money.com. Think about these are places, that normally you don't hear this type of rhetoric, but they're talking about, hey, this is going to be designed to work right alongside in the private sector, that it's going to become a game changer when we think about money. And again, for all of you people that want to live in fantasy land, they're not going to ban cash. That's ridiculous. Double J's a tinfoil helmet wearer. Okay. Go ahead and believe that. But you know what? I'll tell you what, you're partially right. I don't think they'll have to officially say we're banning cash. Nobody's going to take it. I mean, look, it's already happening now. And it's so funny. People are so dumb. Go to a sporting event. Go to a concert. Go to a lot. They don't take any cash. Go to a Portillo's drive-thru. They ain't taking cash. Nope, can't do it. Right, Jason? And again, all that's going to happen is they're going to rely on Walmart, Kroger, right, all these big companies to simply start saying, we're not going to take it. Look at banks now. Look how ridiculous it is. Right? You can't go to a bank and get cash. I mean, you get a little bit of cash, but you can't go to a bank, I want 10 grand in cash. They're not going to give it to you. It ain't happening. Right? They charge businesses to put cash in. I mean, I have months where my banking fees are thousands of dollars. Thousands. It's absolutely insane. And all this are going to do is make it more expensive. Well, how much do we have to charge you in fees, Jason, before you stop taking it, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. On the last segment, you talked about $300 for $100,000. That'll be $3,000, which for $100,000, that'll be 3%. I think somewhere around 5%. How much freedom can you afford? If you want private use of money, it may not go completely away, Joe, if the banks or the businesses can make a few bucks off it, right? And so the average guy who's pinching pennies trying to pay the bills, they can't lose 5 or 6% of their money just to transact in cash.
I mean, right?
They'll be in the Fed now.
But right,
a rich guy, a rich guy could. Yeah,
a cash fee.
Hey, you got. Yeah, well, yeah. So when you go to the bank for a deposit, you bring in $10,000. They take 5%, right? Right there. How about this? You go to the store. You go to buy a pizza. It's $100 in pizza. $5 fee, right there, and then the pizza place, they get charged a deposit into their bank. So if it's let's just say it's a $5 charge to get it sent to the bank. Well, then the business will probably charge 7 or 8% because they're going to make a little bit for it to come. So it'll be something like that, Joe, where the consumer will be the highest percentage charge, the business will be a little less, right? And then larger businesses will be at the lowest charge.
Right. Could you imagine, like on our shopping cart on our website? Well, here's our digital currency price.
Correct.
Right? Oh, wait, you got a digital currency credit card. Here's our credit card price. Oh, wait, you want to pay with cash? Right. Here's the cash price, which is going to be the most expensive price, right?
I think for sure that's where it goes, yes. That's for sure where it goes, Joe. How much freedom can you afford? That's the privacy of transacting in private.
Needing divisible material, barterable material, you got to have it. $675 on Silver Eagles. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason here wrapping up a Friday, and we get ready for next week. Everybody anticipating a Fed rate hike. I'll call it a soft one, I guess, for lack of a better term. But we'll wait and see. Right now, gold's down 5, kind of just hanging out here, 1965. Silver's down. Right now down 6 cents, 24.75. Again, just kind of hanging out here. I think the lows are in, and I expect silver and gold to continue to strengthen as once again, right, we're starting to shifting away from rate hikes, and then focusing in on, okay, how are we going to pay for it all now? All that money that Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke and Jay Powell and our elected officials, remember when it was free, go big. Well, now we got to pay for it all. Speaking of paying for it all, businesses having more and more trouble doing so. And again, hasn't affected the overall economy yet. But bankruptcy filings continuing. Not only are we past where we were last year, but every month the number grows. Every month the number grows. And these are corporate, these are big ones. These aren't, the little mom and pop shop that all of a sudden boarded up its doors. If you think about April, it was 12. Then May, it was 16, right? In June, it's 20, right? July, we don't know yet, right? But Jason, every month, the number grows and really pretty significantly. When you say we had 12 and went to 16, that's a 33% increase. I mean, that's a big increase in companies of $10 million or more filing for bankruptcies. And now, here's the other side of it. Okay, now we get it. Bed Bath & Beyond. That made a lot of sense, didn't it? I mean, they've been a bad retailer for a while, right? We get that one, right? A lot of these early ones, people are like, yeah, they weren't very good at what they did. But now what the problem is, they're starting to get these companies, hey, maybe they weren't great, right? Okay, you're not a great company, but you made money. You made a little bit of money. Right, you're big, you make a little bit of money, but now because of interest rates, and now the banks are like, we got all these write-downs, and now all of a sudden these weaker companies, Jason, they're being forced into bankruptcy because the bank's like, yeah, we're not helping you out. We looked at the numbers. It's kind of like commercial real estate, right? We're looking at the numbers. And, yeah, you're not real healthy. You're barely getting by. And this is how recessions start, when you start getting these companies, what I'll call fringe profitable companies, all of a sudden being forced into bankruptcy because lending standards keep getting tighter.
Yeah, the 0% rates are gone, and businesses are having to act more business-like if this is where we're headed permanently. So if you have guys that customers, if you're a bigger business and you got these guys bringing you a buck each, you got 100 guys bringing you a buck each, but you got one customer that brings you $1,000. It starts to wear on you to make the dollar. It's not advantageous for you to spend your time and energies trying to support too many small guys when you got a couple of large fish that support what you do. And so, yeah, the smaller businesses are facing a lot of challenges, and interest rates are really pushing a lot of pressure onto the small and medium-sized businesses. I mean, in 2021, 2022, we saw the medium and small cap stocks just dying.
Right.
They've done nothing for a long time, and without those big, huge fish at the top of those indices, they'd all be down right now since Biden took office.
Yeah, and you look at our mega banks; they're global banks.
Yep.
Well, globally, just in July, so July isn't even over. 340 global corporate bankruptcies. I mean, it really is one of these things. And we talked about Europe struggling, China struggling, Japan struggling, right? Where everybody's running really, really hard just to keep their head above water. And again, as these things tighten, money supply gets shrunk, interest rates rise, right? The quantitative tightening. It takes a while for all of these things to play out. And then you throw on top of that, deposits are still leaving banks. And, they don't want to talk about it. Even the big banks. Just over the last year, they have $200+ billion less in deposits. Now, some of that's money leaving, and some of that is, well, I had money in there, but what? Inflation keeps eroding it away, right? Every month I have a little less and a little less and a little less. All of a sudden, hey, these banks are hundreds of billions of dollars less in deposits. And, Jason, they're going to start protecting those deposits, right? That's what they're going to do. And they're not going to make risky loans or anything close to a risky loan because then they've got to put that in the loan loss provisions, lowering those deposits even more.
Yeah, we went for 2020 from money being abundantly over the top, accessible and just plentiful, to now money is very tight and a little harder to get your hands on, Joe. There's plenty of money overall in the system. I mean, we have a bloated system, but they're not printing it, and it's not being printed. The Fed's money supply, the amount of money that's being put in circulation is not growing. It's shrinking. It's shrinking just by a little bit. But going sideways and not growing or shrinking is bad for a Ponzi scheme, Joe. It needs to grow for a Ponzi scheme to work.
Right,
so
that's right.
It's happening. It's happening.
Final segment coming up. Patriot Radio News Hour, wrapping up the week. (800-951-0592) Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, the last of the, and I don't know, maybe I'll get lucky again. I doubt it. But the last of the Silver Eagles. This is the closest to spot. Probably going on 3 years, Jason, probably on Silver Eagles. $675 a roll. We only got a handful of them left. Put them away. Add to your portfolios. 10th ounce American Gold Eagles, $255. Check it. Go online. Go check. Go look. Don't take my word for it. Go look. You're not going to find them for less. 800-951-0592. Couple of things that we got to look for you. So we're all saying the same thing. Hey, the economy's okay. Everybody, and I mean everybody. Yeah, things are slow. Things have slowed. Patriot, we're slow. Slow here. Right? Eric, you said, it'd have to speed up to be slow. It's slow. It's summertime slow. The fear is it's going to stay that way. I don't know. Right? They think back to school spending is going to be a stinker this year. Think about August. Two things in August that are big. All of a sudden, we're going to have a huge increase in long-term treasuries that need to be sold. It's probably going to drive rates up no matter what the Fed wants. Right? That's what we think. Student loan debt repayments start. That's 37 million Americans have that payment, man. And, think about the percentage of the adult population. You got to take out all the kids under 18. And I know there's some in their 60s that have it. If you took out everybody under 18 and everybody over 65, that's a huge percentage of people that will now have to make and Jason, what I read was the average, that's $500 a month. That's kind of like the average student loan payment that's going to need to be made. That's going to have a significant effect. My opinion, I think we're very close to seeing the next leg down here. We'll see. Look at the yield curve inversion. We are the biggest inverted yield curve going back to 1980. So this is one of those things. The bigger, the higher the short-term yields get versus the long-term yields, that's called inversion. It's the biggest spread that we've had in decades. And, Jason, when they get this big, that usually means it's not a soft landing, right? It's not a good outcome. It's a recession, and usually a nasty one. We'll have to see. But there are a lot of headwinds for this economy, and right now we've kind of had this this melt up, this cooling off period this summer where we kind of treaded water. It's going to be interesting to see what the direction's going to be in the next 30 to 45 days.
Well, $500 a month college loan payment. I mean, if you're earning $20 an hour, that's just before taxes. That's 25 hours of work just to get that paid every month. And with taxes, that's like 32 hours of work per month just to get your school loan.
Yeah, it's almost a week.
It's almost a week of work just to get your school loan. Now, if you're doing anything that's outside of living with your parents, how do you get the food and the rent paid and all the utilities and the gas in the car? I literally don't know how most people would make it, Joe, and it's coming to an head here soon, I think.
800-951-0592. Jason and I were coming right back with the short edition of the Half 50 Cup.